Alright, so I'm finally getting around to bottling a apricot sour here. Man, it sat on these apricots for like 6 months. I got a little lazy. Just kind of let them ride it out in the basement. Yeah, so I'm real proud of myself here, you know. I'm bottling it up. Like 2 days ago I bottled up the cherry version of this, and something kind of weird happened. Like, I added, I'm obviously doing it in a bottling bucket here. But, so I took a gravity sample, and I put the priming sugar in it, and so it was at 1010. So I was like, that's weird, because I know at least 2/3 of the base beer was like at 1002 or 1003 or something. The finish was really dry. And the other beer, I can't remember what the gravity was, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty low, even if it was at 1010. So anyway, so I figured, well, priming sugar probably had something to do with it. You know, I had 138 grams of sugar in there, so that's going to bump the gravity up a little bit. And I figured, well, you know, there might be, since I did like 4 or 5 pounds of dried cherries, that there's some sort of residual sugar in there. So I figured it's all good. It sat on there for 6 months. No real airlock activity to go through. So backtracking about 6 months ago, I was at my homebrew club meeting, and I was telling them, I was like, yeah, I just put some of my barrel sour beer on fruit, and I blended it with another beer. But I was like, yeah, I just put it on fruit. And they're like, oh, what kind of fruit did you get? And I said, well, I told them I got these dried apricots and dried cherries from Costco. And they were like, well, what about the sulfites they put on it? And I said, what? I said, yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure those have sulfites in it. Let me show you here. So I said, well, I mean, it's too late. We'll let it ride out. I really didn't check the gravity of the beers as they were sitting here for 6 months, but check this out. This sucks. So the ingredients: dried apricots, sulfur dioxide. So that's what that is. So it's basically it's a yeast bacteria killing something that they put on these fruits so they don't mold in the bag. Well, there's nothing I could do about it, so I told you kind of what happened with the cherry beer. It was at 1010. I'm not too worried about that one. It tasted good, you know, good cherry flavor, pretty good creek type of stuff. Now look at this beer. Now this is the same exact beer, just minus the fruit, because I blended it 15 gallons, and the other 5 gallons was unfruited, and it has already been drank. But check this out. That's not good, people. That is at 1026. 1024, 1026. So that's so what happened was the sulfates off of the apricot killed all my bacteria in the beer. And the sugars that kind of leached out of the apricots bumped up the ABV. They bumped up the sugar content in there, but since there was sulfites on the fruit, it killed all the yeast and bacteria. So now what you have is a beer that's should be like anywhere from, you know, under 1010 for sure, I would think. But it's almost like a tart apricot juice, really. I mean, it's really sweet. So unfortunately, I'm not going to bottle this. Just a learning lesson. If you buy, you know, especially dried fruit, make sure it doesn't have any kind of sulfite or anything on there. Again, like, this fruit sat on here for 6 months. The unfortunate part is, well, it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, the nice thing about my situation is I have a ton of sour beer going. So if 5 gallons I'm really, in my opinion, I'm only out the price of the dried fruit, which is actually kind of expensive, and the time that I put into kind of bottling and fucking around with it. So I'm not really out. I don't really consider myself out time on the sour beer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this. It does taste good, though. I mean, it's not unpleasant, but it's like drinking like a lemonade apricot is what it tastes like. Juice. So that's that. I'll take a pH reading and see what it's at, but whatever. So that's unfortunate. So 5 gallons of apricot sour. Goodbye. I was gonna send this out to some people too, which is unfortunate. The good news is that since I have bottles clean, everything like that, sanitizer going, what the fuck? I get to pick one of these bad boys. Yeah, I don't know which one I'm gonna do. You know, they're all well over a year. This one's not, but I might do this one. We'll see. So I might pick one of these beers out and just bottle it up. You can tell this one was, that's a year old. That one's 2 years old. That one could definitely be bottled up. So maybe I'll do this one. These are pretty much the same age. I brewed a Roeselare only beer, and then not really knowing what I was doing, I pitched beer straight on. I transferred this over to secondary and pitched 5 gallons straight onto the cake. But the bug ratio was completely mixed up with yeast. So I do kind of want to see what these two beers, the difference is. They're pretty much the same beer, so I'm not going to touch those. That's kind of an experiment that I got going on. What do I got here? Yeah, let's do this one. Fuck it. It's dregs and a little bit of East Coast Yeast 20. It was done on 12/18/2013 on April 23rd of 2015. It was at 10:10. I don't even really know. Okay. So, yeah, all is not lost, of course. I'll just fucking bottle up another beer. It ain't a big deal. Alright guys, I just hadn't posted a video in a while, and I kind of like to maybe show mistakes that I've made on this stuff. So when you go to fruit a beer, use like fresh fruit, or use like a puree that's meant for brewing. So don't try to get clever with the shit. So alright guys, we'll see you later. Oh, but we do have that. So there's some Creek, some bottles there, which is tasting pretty good actually. Super sour. The pH was 3.18, and that was like calibrated, and it was 3.18, so it's fucking sour. Alright guys, we'll talk to you later. Thanks.